Whoa! I'm awake. I'm awake. Alright. I'm motivated. I cannot wait to keep reviewing Naruto, which is my childhood favorite show, and I've been doing a series on it. Check the other parts out if you haven't yet. Oh, I'm so motivated. So motivated. Alright, what's the next part?
Alright, fine. I'll stop bullying this arc for like 10 minutes so I can talk about it properly. After the bombast of the Chunin exam arc, the plot of Naruto chooses to slow down quite a bit and focus on elaborating on character motivations and also plant the seeds for more development and world building. It does this by combining a training arc with a recruitment mission, with a healthy bit of action at the start and end points. Sounds pretty good, the exact kind of arc that would need to happen after a big climax like the Konoha invasion. The content of the arc is surely familiar to you. Jiraiya the Sage sets out to find his old friend Tsunade to offer her the newly vacant seat of Hokage. During this, he takes Naruto on the journey with him to teach him a jutsu that's actually useful. They get attacked by anime ISIS, Sasuke and Kakashi are hit by the PTSD no jutsu, and Naruto eats some ice cream, standard affair. Oh, and also tits, but who cares? This was an arc that I was never particularly fond of as a kid because, like all kids, I was stupid and I had the attention span of a potted plant, so I got bored with this arc very quickly. Has anything changed in 15 years? Well, for starters, I really like the start this time around. As opposed to the previous two arcs, this one takes its time with its beginning, taking an extra minute to show how everyone is and how the village is doing after the attack and without a leader. I talked last time about how the break between the preliminary and final exams was a welcome breather, and the same applies here too. It's a perfectly sized little segment that doesn't overstay its welcome. Once we know how everybody is doing, the arc gets properly started as Naruto and Jiraiya leave the village while two mysterious figures infiltrate the village. This is of course the introduction of the Akatsuki, an evil organization that seeks to extract Naruto's Nine Tails and that would, as you certainly know, end up becoming an immensely important part of Naruto's narrative. I do really like that they introduced this early. While the transition from Orochimaru to the Akatsuki as a main villainous element is still somewhat sudden, having the Black Cloaks appear now when the universe of Naruto is still being formed helps make them a natural part of this world instead of the random evil group they very easily could have been if they hadn't appeared until like Shippuden. Almost more importantly though is the introduction of Itachi Uchiha, fan favorite mass murderer and an immensely cool character. This is another introduction I feel is really well timed. So far, Itachi has been an invisible force in the plot, an intangible evil that spurns Sasuke even further. So for him to appear now, right as the storm has passed, is a really nice way of immediately upping the stakes again. We are told this is Itachi, we see the Sharingan, and we're immediately like, oh my god, it's happening, which is cool. Not to mention that he effortlessly lives up to the build-up, folding a bunch of Jonin like they're clean laundry with ease. However, between this scene and the one in the hotel, I find myself having trouble believing that Kishimoto planned Itachi being secretly good from the start. The Tsukuyomi is an incredibly fucked up ability, and he uses it very liberally on people he supposedly cares for, including his younger brother whom he loves oh so much. It's just a weird discrepancy that, to me at least, indicates that Kishimoto had different plans for Itachi at this point. But like, whatever, that's a nitpick, so who really cares? Not much more to say here, except that Kurenai attempting Genjutsu on Itachi is genuinely the best joke in this series. Girl, you're out of your league! Another highlight of this arc comes in the form of Naruto and Jiraiya's relationship. It's genuinely sweet to see Naruto engage with someone who's just as goofy as him, but a lot more experienced and nuanced. Moments like them sharing ice cream really cement Jiraiya as a worthy mentor and father figure to Naruto, which is heartwarming. I also really like the Rasengan and its presence in this arc. 80-ish episodes into the series, it's about time that Naruto learns a new trick, and the Rasengan is a perfect fit. It's cool, it's powerful, and easy to remember, both for him and for us. I definitely think as a power, it's at its coolest when it still has a special effect, namely making shit spin. This probably did end up getting ignored in favor of the general powerful strike kind of deal later on, but in this arc it's present and that's cool. Also, I like the training regiment. Naruto in general is really good at making the training arcs feel sensible and well structured, and this is a great example of that. The stages of the Rasengan training make perfect sense, and the creative solutions Naruto comes up with are satisfying and interesting to experience. Naruto in general really shines in this arc. His character has an awesome presence here. One of my favorite moments, for example, is when he finds out about Tsunade and Jiraiya's ties to Orochimaru and calls them out for their inaction, which is like, holy shit, yes! They are idiots for letting him roam free for over a decade, and Naruto pointing that out is just superbly cool. In general, I feel like his characteristics of being this outwardly confident but inwardly somewhat self-conscious guy just works in this arc perfectly, and I would say for the first time in the series so far. Both in Zabuza and in Chunin, I felt like it either swayed in too strongly in one of the two directions, but here it is just right. Also, next, I mean, Alright, fellas, I gotta be honest with you. This is the hardest script I've had to write in a while, and that is because this arc is not great. I barely have anything to say about it because it's just boring and a chore. This arc is a whole heap of nothing, and I struggle to find anything really to talk about. I started with the positives because honestly I do really like the things I've mentioned, but here I am, sitting here trying to write this script, and all I can think about is, oh my god, I would prefer writing anything else. Because this arc kind of broke my renewed interest in Naruto for a while. It took me a long time to watch this arc, for reasons we'll get into. So if you were here just for the positives, there you go. You may leave if you want to. I'll also try and breeze through these negatives because, honest to God, I don't really want to spend much time talking shit. Like, I know people think I hate Naruto. I really don't. Naruto is very dear to me and I don't want to shit on it. So let's just get through this very quickly. Just get the Spark Notes version of what I thought was wrong with this arc, and let's be done with this. I am so tired of this arc. Tsunade is a nothing character. She gets two tragic backstories and somehow still comes out the other end as an irritating and boring character that never really once grabbed my interest. Fat fucking tits only go so far in making a character stand out, and her entire deal regarding her brother's and husband's deaths just doesn't get enough context to mean anything. I do like that her trauma is related to her spouse rather than a family member, since the whole my family was killed shtick is really played out in the series. But then she gets her brother's death anyway, so like, ugh. Also, side note, how did no one predict Orochimaru being evil when he says shit like this?
It's too bad the boy was so reckless, as if he thought he were invulnerable. And the day after receiving such a lovely gift, too.
Lock him up, please? The central conflict between Tsunade and Orochimaru in this arc is absurd from both sides. The series seriously trying to convince us that Tsunade would sacrifice Konoha for a reincarnation of her beloved ones she knows would not be lasting or complete anyway is honestly just kind of insulting. You know, she's lived in that village most of her life. All the people she's loved come from that village. The people she grew up with sacrificed themselves for that village. So the notion that this serious woman would sacrifice Konoha for something like that, especially considering that she's very well aware of the fact that it won't be a full reincarnation anyway, is odd, and I couldn't ever get behind it, which obviously affected my enjoyment. On the flip side, Orochimaru wants Tsunade to heal his arms. But he can do that himself by just switching bodies again, which is what he ends up doing anyway. And we know that it is possible beforehand because he tells us so. So why the fuck is this even a conflict? It ends up being just an exercise in Orochimaru's sadism, which is like, cool, but please make it entertaining next time. The pace is absolutely fucked. This arc is 20 episodes long, but somehow feels longer than the 60 episode Chunin exam arc, and a big reason for that is just how slow and stretched out the content is. There regularly are shots that are held for like 5 seconds longer than necessary, which is like, oh, Ocean, you're being stupid, and yes, I am being stupid, I'm recording this in the middle of the night, but trust me, that shit adds up, trust me. And even when we're actually progressing, so much of this arc is just people standing and talking about how they will definitely start fighting soon. I did not have fun with this arc, and the pace was just one big part of it. And what do we get as the big climax? The most boring kaiju fight imaginable, sandwiched between a cool fight between Naruto and Kabuto, and an absurd fight between Kabuto and Tsunade. Bro, Tsunade rewrites Kabuto's entire neural system so that he moves his legs when he wants to use his arms and shit, and then he adjusts to it in like 2 seconds and continues to fight at full power. Like, what? And when the fight's over, she goes all, Naruto is destined to be Hokage. Destined to be Hokage. Kishi, are you sure you want to use that word? After the Neji fight, are you sure you want to say it like that? Are you sure what you're doing, Kishimoto? I'm sorry, I really don't enjoy complaining. I know I'm an anime YouTuber and people expect that I love shitting on things, but I really don't. I wouldn't even have made this episode if I thought that, people would accept that I just skipped an arc. And I did want to talk about the cool shit, but oh my god, I did not have fun with this arc. Also, anyone who knows me can now look forward to the eventual war arc review. I went into this hoping I'd learn to enjoy this arc the same way I did with Chunin. I was having so much fun at the start, and while Itachi was there, it was great. But holy crap, as soon as the focus shifted onto the Tsunade shit, it just got... Yeah, no. Let's not stretch this out. 4 out of 10. It has some cool shit at the beginning, but oh my god, no. God, this was painful. Can we, get a good arc in the next episode or something? Please? I am hard.